Hold up. Wait a minute.
Bruh.
Did you hit the like button? Drop some rabbits in the chat. Let's go.
Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits. Drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. If you want the tea, come see me. Rabbit hole is the place to be for real news, not fake news. Celebrity news, breaking news around the clock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock, I rock, I rock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. True crime is my specialty. Exposing the industry. Unsolved mysteries. Sticking to reality. Fair use commentary. Talking about cults. Trying to get results. Exploring cults. Exploring. Researching. Debunking. Investigating. Being nosy. Super nosy. Being messy. Being shady. Rabbit hole news. That's me. The chick with ADHD. Unmedicated. But quite educated. Hit that like. Hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat. Hit chat. Hit that like. Hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Hit that like. Hit that like. Let's go. Let's go. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Hi, everybody. Hold up. Let me make myself a large screen. Oh my God, my hair is so crazy right now. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Welcome. Oh my goodness. I swear. You said I felt like the break between the lives was like a commercial, a very long commercial break, right? Welcome. Hey, Katie. Thank you so much for being a member for 7 months. Shout out to you, love. Thank you for supporting the channel. Guys, we have so much to get into. And I mean, honestly, like, that breaking news on Hulk Hogan kind of took me out a little bit. I'm not going to lie. And then I was like, I got to watch something that cheers me up a little bit because it's just too much damn bad news out there. You know what I mean? Like too much. So I'm going to show you all something. Okay. I'm going to show you guys something. Let me share my screen. So I was, scrolling, and I'm always here to laugh at Jennifer Lopez, at least for a little bit. Right. Could be like, God, Rabbit, you're so mean. Y'all know I don't like J-Lo. I just don't. I don't. So they were making fun of J-Lo, and I'm just gonna play this. Hopefully I don't get struck. I don't think I will, but just listen. What are the two clips that give off the same energy? Look at this. What?
Libres para estimar, libres para que ser quienes quería ser, libres para cumplir vuestros sueños, simplemente libres.
Gracias para vivir en la casa, en las escuelas, en el azul marcada. Tienes con vivir en las fortunas. Gracias.
Let me stop. All right. So J-Lo's Spanish, J-Lo Spanish is just so like, you're listening to her speak. If you understand Spanish, you're listening to her speak. And some of y'all are probably like, well, she speaks more Spanish than I do, potentially. But like when she's speaking, you can't understand what the hell she's talking about. So like as somebody who's a fluent speaker, I'm sitting there and I'm like, huh? You might as well bring that lady that was over there twisting the words, and I cannot. Look at it.
Libres para estimar, libres para que.
Libres para free for what? Libres para estimar? Free to estimate? She's giving no Sabo kid for sure. Yes, she is. She is. Thank you for the $1.99. I had to. What is libres para estimar? free to estimate? Is that what she's trying to tell the people? Like, what? It's supposed to be a very emotional speech as she's given here, and I just felt I just couldn't. It was giving poser.
Ser quienes quería ser.
Libres para ser quienes quieres ser, to be what you want to be.
Libres para cumplir.
Free to what? Cumplir? To account?
Vuestros sueños.
For our dreams. Okay.
Simplemente libres.
Just free. that I did understand. Simplemente libre is just free. He was given this.
Para vivir en la casa, en las escuelas, and el azul marcada. Tienes con vivir en las fortunas. Gracias.
Libre.
She said Taco Bell Spanish. Yo, I get dragged because I know some of y'all are fans. I told y'all I'm not a fan, and I'm not gonna pretend that I'm a fan just to appease the people. I'm just not a fan, okay? Anyway, so something better than J-Lo's Spanish. Let's get right into the news. First of all, let me say something. I was today years old when I found out that the QAnon group have a shaman. There's a shaman for a QAnon group? Okay, can y'all explain this to me? When did this happen? And I must have been asleep when all this went down. What had happened? They have okay, you said yes, Greek lady, you act like you know. Okay, did they have a shaman? It's weird. Yes, did you know? Okay, see, I'm not the only one. Lady Victoria's like, what? It's a word we all call him. Okay. I didn't know. I'm learning, y'all. If y'all believe it, okay, yeah, the shaman has been around for how long? See what I'm saying? I didn't know. I didn't know that there was a shaman for the. I didn't know they had one. Okay, well, that's cute. That's cute. Okay, that's cute. He was arrested on January 6th. Gotcha. Okay, well, the shaman has broken up with Trump. He said no. F this stupid piece of bleep. What a fraud. He replied to a post of Trump mugshot in a now deleted tweet viewed by thousands. Now, how is the shaman going to run his mouth and then delete the tweet? That's what I don't get. How do you run your mouth and then delete the tweet? Huh? Who does that? Not a literal shaman, I know. But how are you not going to stand on 10? You literally... You wrote a tweet, F this guy, and then you deleted it. Why'd you delete it? What happened? Anyways, let's keep going. So he says, in a long tweet, the shaman also mentioned that Trump administration has threatened his life, and they're actively phone tapping him. He claims this happened because they refused to cooperate with Trump's administration and expose its alleged loyalty to Israel over America. He also revealed that Trump had S with a corpse in order to receive billions of dollars. I'm going to go play that J-Lo clip again because this just, we started all of this very wrong. I don't know what to tell you. Like, what? What's this? Y'all, but I said, what? So, the actual article, let's go to it. It's a distraction. I don't know what to say. I saw this. I said, what am I supposed to do with this news? Huh? Even the QAnon shaman has turned on Trump. Okay. So to be a shaman, do I need to wear horns? I could totally be a shaman, I think. I think that's like an open job for everybody, right? He says, Jacob Angeli Chansley, I think that's how you say that, also known as QAnon Shaman, has launched a scathing verbal attack on President Trump as the commander-in-chief continues to deal with the fallout of his administration decision not to release the Epstein files. In 2021, the picture of the shaman who wore a Viking horn headdress and a red, white, and blue face paint became a defining image of the Capitol riots. 4 years on, okay, the shaman's support of the president seems to be over. Oh, yeah, F Israel and F Donald Trump, and this is what he wrote on X on Wednesday. Okay, this is his words, not mine. YouTube, I am just reading for news reporting, commentary, educational purpose. This is educational and comedic commentary, all of it. It's all. Stop blaming Trump. That is easier than finding the real traitors. Stop blaming. What am I blaming Trump on? I'm not just blaming, I'm blaming all of them. Not just Trump, all of them. Kimchi, all of them. I'm blaming all of them. I'm blaming everybody. Not just Trump, all of them. So it's not just Trump. Make sure you put in there, stop blaming Trump and everybody. It's all of them. Because I just want to make sure you get that right. Okay? Shout out to everybody in the chat. YouTube is for educational purposes only, right? Like, that's what I thought, right? Paige is like, no, Rabbit. F that. I blame Trump. Y'all be fighting these people like tooth and nail, and I don't know why. Like, why? Like, these people wouldn't even piss on you if you're on fire. Wake up. I hope people know that. But okay, let's keep going. All right. So in 2021, the picture of the shaman adored in a fur. So he was wearing this thing for the Capitol riot. Okay. So this is what he said. He posted a fury of fiery tweets about Trump, including one that has since been deleted under the Trump post featuring his mugshot. Now, Shaman, I'm starting to think you're full of caca, because how are you going to run your mouth and then delete that tweet? I don't get it. The tweet, which reads, F this stupid piece of poop, what a fraud, was shared by X. Under the account fake, is it Fake Treads Watch? Instead of Patriots, it's Fake Treads Watch. I didn't even know that was an account. Wow. So, this is the guy. This is really him. This is his mugshot. He further writes, did you go to Epstein Island too, James? Because I'm beginning to look closer. Didn't your house survive the LA fires too? Nothing about Epstein. You're not holding Trump accountable. I know the routine, James. I try to give people their privacy, but I'm going to let you cook. This is what the shaman wrote on Once Upon a Time in America Star. Okay, so he also said he doesn't like Mike Pence. He said, F Mike Pence. Okay, everybody's mad. Look at, they're protesting. I didn't even see this. Did y'all see this? Release the Epstein files. Look at this. They're right outside of the White House protesting. Now, I haven't even heard the major media talk about that protest. Oh my goodness. You can't stand him? He looks like a really nice guy. What happened? I'm just joking. You said blame Canada. He was never a Trump supporter. He was a paid actor. He was hired by the Fed. How do we know? Okay, beautiful Miss Ball, how do you know he was paid by the feds? Like, did you see a check? I want to know. Because everybody throws that out there, girl. Like, did you see a check? Or how do we know that he was paid? I want to see some receipts. I think we're beyond at this point. We've passed this, like, throwing stuff to see what sticks at this point. I just want to know, what's going on? Are we looking at the same picture? I don't know. This looks very blurry, doesn't it? It's weird. Morris, thank you for being a member for 9 months. I think they meant to call him Charmin. Not Shaman, Charmin. Pretty sure he's a plant. Thank you, Morris, for being a member for 9 months. Shout out to you. Okay. You think he's a plant. Okay. Why do you guys think he's a plant? What are the elements that let me ask you guys a question for those that think he's a plant or he's a paid person. What would do y'all see a check? I'm just wondering what led you to that belief? I'm totally open to that conversation. It sounded like he supported the guy. Now he doesn't. I'm kind of wondering about that. Now he deleted his tweet, which I'm like, well, that's just wrong. But this is him. Okay. And this is pressure has been mounting from both the Democrats and the GOP regarding transparency over the Trump files. I'm here for it. I'm here for the pressure on the neck. Okay. I'm here for it. I saw him, period. Didn't try. That's what I thought, but maybe he's a paid plant. I don't know. Well, I'm just tired of us throwing this out here if we don't have any actual receipts. Was there an investigation that said that he was paid by the feds? Because if that's the case in all of us, right? There's a lot of people that could say that. Well, I don't know for a fact. Okay, gotcha. He was paid by the feds. But it was proven that the feds were behind the January 6th, and it's been proven that he's an actor. Okay. Gotcha. We just don't know if he was paid, which I think it's a different allegation to make. All right, cool. I'll take that. He's just a nut job. I don't know. He's a shaman. I'll give him his title, but apparently people are dragging him on Twitter because they don't like what he has been saying, which I'm like, well, maybe he just had a change of mind. Maybe he had a complete change of mind and he kind of like said, no, you know, F you and F that. And I don't know. And now he's claiming that the president had to have S with the corpse and got $1 billion. Now, see, we don't even have receipts for that. How do we know that that's the case? None of this is making sense. Okay. Let's talk about Maxwell. We definitely going to be moving on here, but and then there's another video that I want us to watch. We'll probably watch the video before we get into these court documents. So Maxwell's attorney has said that if she agrees to testify in front of the House of Representatives Oversight Committee, she would do so truthfully. Now, that was a statement. If you guys remember, that's what her attorney said. What does truthfully mean for Maxwell? I'm not really sure. Actually, I don't even know what the hell all this means. Apparently, TMZ reported yesterday, take that for what it's worth, that she was being subpoenaed. And so there's that. And I'm like, well, now that people are now paying attention to what this lady had to say, mind you, they didn't want to talk to her. Now you got all these political people hurrying it up and trying to meet with her quickly and expeditiously. And what does that say? What does that tell us? That tells us what? That they're going to try to put as much as they can out of this fire. Okay. I want you to think about the time frame on when this information was released. We're now almost week 3 at this point of this information and slowly things being revealed. Trump's got a bunch of videos coming out. People are going through the old Jeffrey Epstein deposition videos where he didn't really, and we're going to watch that again because I think even now people have interpreted it to mean a bunch of things, but even now it kind of gives a different interpretation. And I want to read everybody's comments because people were really mad about me showing that video because again, y'all still don't want me to talk about somebody that you guys don't want me to talk about. And I'm sorry. I don't work for you. I'm going to talk about whoever the hell I want to talk about on this platform. That's what makes this platform, unique. Everybody should be able to. You say he didn't go to jail, even though he was clearly the leader. He had no arrest record prior to Trump's pardon, and he ran for Congress. You talk about the shaman. NZ, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you. Thank you. He didn't go to jail, even though he was clearly the leader. NZ, thank you. If you want to clarify in the chat. Yes, Miss Brittany, I did a video earlier this morning. It's really sad news. But honestly, like we just got to talk. And I'm not a political chick. I can't give you political advice. Please note that a lot of what I'm saying is nothing to give advice of anything whatsoever. So, yeah. Are you talking? He did 23 months. What are you on about? Oh, you talking about the shaman tea maker? Well, people are saying he didn't do prison time. I don't know. Did he? I don't know the guy's record. I didn't even know we had a shaman. That's how much I don't know about. I just thought it was hilarious that they're calling him a shaman, and it's a QAnon shaman. Yeah. So there's that. So again, let's continue. The House of Representatives Oversight Committee has subpoenaed Maxwell. Lady's got a subpoena from the House of Representatives Oversight Committee, who is appealing her conviction to testify remotely from prison on August 11th, a move that had bipartisan support on the panel. Okay, Marcus said that if Maxwell chose to testify in front of the committee rather than invoke her constitutional right to remain silent, she would testify truthfully, as she always has said she would. How do you guys feel about her testifying? I hope that she does this before she meets with, well, maybe she's already met with people. I hope that she does this very quickly. How do you guys feel about her testifying? Let me know. I mean, is she going to bring something? Is this going to reduce her time? Is she going to want to work with something? You said Trump will pardon Maxwell if she exonerates him. Ooh. She will lie. Love it. Testify. What happens? All right. Okay. Let me tell y'all something. Okay. Like this is that deal with the devil part. Okay. Think she's going to lie? Okay. You said, so Maxwell is going to reveal the client list to the AG who works for one of the people on the list, yeah, that will turn out well. I'm so glad you said this. Because you know why? That's that deal with the devil, right? How do we know that we're actually getting what's being asked for? How are you going to testify if allegedly, it sounds like there might be some accuracy to this, that if there is a list that this, look, yesterday, the Wall Street Journal, okay, some of y'all are going to be like, I don't believe it, it's fake news, that's fine, whatever. They're getting sued, so maybe Trump will be able to prove whether they're fake news or not, okay? They'll be able to figure that out. The Wall Street Journal doubled down and said that Mr. Trump is on the list. Now, the problem with that statement is that we don't know to what extent, what does that even mean, right? To be on Epstein's list. Because we've put a lot of thought about this Epstein list. Well, is it elite? Is it rich people? What kind of people are on this list? Is it somebody who he clearly did business with? We just don't know to what extent. So that's why I'm like, well, what does that even mean? The Wall Street Journal back in May told Trump that his name appeared on various documents, a list, whatever it was that they got a hold of from somebody who I believe was Maxwell's camp. Okay, because I truly believe that Maxwell has been sitting on information. But you have to kind of wonder how the hell Maxwell's going to reveal a client or a person she knows or all these people involved. You think they're not going to ask her about President Trump? And does she know what the dealings were? And she's supposed to be truthful about that when she could potentially get exonerated or be let go? Pick your poison. Which one is it, y'all? Like, does that even make sense? I feel like they're playing in our faces. Let me explain this. I'm 20 years behind bars, okay? Now, I have an opportunity to be done with this situation. If I get exonerated and I completely clear certain folks from this list or say that this list does not exist, then I'm out. I'm done. I could just change my name, change my identity, and leave, right? Or I could sit there and give my truthful testimony and chance it. Which one would you do? Would you be truthful? It's Maxwell. Her brother got on Piers Morgan. And what did her brother say? She didn't even know that Epstein was doing all this. Like, he's even like acting like he's brand new. We already know the narrative that Maxwell's going to give to people, y'all. She's not going to release information. She's not going to accuse this man who clearly has her life on his hands. I think she's going to change the narrative so that it's a situation where, guys, there's no list. The people that have been exonerated, have taken immunity, have done so without the public's knowledge or concern or thought or anything. They didn't ask the public, how do you feel about this? I didn't say anything like that, right? So I have to kind of wonder. It seems very scriptive at this point. It seems like these people are just here for themselves. So when you say this over here, is it Beetlebrox? Maxwell is going to reveal the client list to the AG who works for one of the people on the list. Yeah, that will turn out well. Bingo. Because I'm not going to be here for 20 years. Fuck y'all. I'm not going to be here for 20 years. I'm going to play this. I'm going to get out. I am not going down for this. Okay. She was a Epstein ride or die until he died. She's like, nope, I'm done. I'm out of here. She's not going to reveal the information. The more I think about it, I'm like, this makes no sense. Right? That's the greatest question. They're going to say what the brother said. Prosecutorial misconduct is what led Maxwell behind bars. I feel like this is all playing out. I could be very wrong about a lot of the stuff. But it just seems like it's all for show at this point. I'm here with you on that one, Yanni. Feels like such a show situation. None of it seems real to me. You said scripted, just like requesting grand jury testimony, but released when they knew it wasn't possible and wouldn't prove any information, period. Here you go. Truth to some folks, wrong is wrong. Maxwell, after prison time now, may be all about self-preservation, get out of jail free card. Wouldn't you think about it, y'all? Think about I'm so glad you said this. Self-preservation. Think about that, right? Like, it's all about that. All about self-preservation. She's in prison because her charges were ex-trafficking for herself and Epstein. No one was mentioned in court, just like they did for Diddy. It's a lot. The attorney meeting Maxwell used to be Trump's personal attorney. They cannot be trusted. I don't think you could trust any of them. So her crimes landed her behind bars. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I got to say. The attorney meeting Maxwell used to be Trump's. Okay, I read that. Anyways, hold up. Let me shout out. Oh my goodness. How did I miss? Lily, thank you again for the $199. Y'all are funny. Hold up. Punk Rocks Girl, thank you for becoming a member. Shout out to you. Thank you for supporting the channel. It just seems very convenient that a lot of this is happening. She has no morals. She'll say whatever benefits her. Now, I think we have to pay attention to some of the deaths surrounding Epstein. Like that lawyer that died, what's his name? Roy Black, helped him get that deal, right? There's that situation, that plea deal that he got in 2007. He just recently died. So guess what? He's not going to be speaking to any of this, right? The ins and outs of that, gone. There was a lady, I guess, who was a chef who also had some kind of connection with Epstein as well. Was it Anne Brunell? There's that lady too. Okay. Now, you know what happens? Typically what happens when stuff like this is happening, you have a lot of things that are becoming unearthed, right? Just that we once seen before or whatever. I thought this image, I was like, this is some ish, you guys. This is some ish. Okay. Thank you. Shout out to you, love. Thank you for being a member forever. Shout out to you, girl. Hold up. She's like, I had changed my membership in my card. I was watching this. Surveillance footage from December 6, 2010 shows Prince Andrew inside of Epstein's NYC townhouse. And allegedly Catherine Keating leaving. Keating has not explained the visit, stating she only knew nothing of Epstein's crimes. The identities and reasons for the women's presence remain unknown. Now, you know what I find so disturbing just in general of this thing that we're about to watch, right? There's a couple things I find disturbing. Outside of the girls coming in and out, but they were watching Epstein for quite some time. This looks this is surveillance, right? Surveillance that's being done. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, okay? You know what's crazy? He's got a big old puffy coat. Big old puffy coat, right? The little girl got a little shirt. You see how she's walking out of there? Crazy, huh? What was Chef Ant's connection? Well, we go look into that when I was able to pull the article. We can't even figure that out, but it's been rumored for quite a while. It's not Virginia. This is another woman. It looks like Virginia though. That's how they caught Andrew. That's right. Look at this shit, guys. Let me show you. Let me keep playing, okay? Crazy. Who the hell is that? Catherine Keating? Look at that. Who's there? And that's all we can do is call it a conspiracy, right? I thought that was an interesting clip that they showed with that. That is, well, I mean, the music is creepy. Let's be very clear. It's giving TikTok creepy music, right? Because they like intentionally put that in there and stuff like that. But all of this is just so creepy because it's like, first of all, it's freaking freezing, right? And I'm looking, I'm like, that girl don't even have a sweater. Nothing. She just got a little long sleeve. You see the young girls coming out. Prince Andrew opens the door. And have y'all ever seen that? Put a one in the chat if you've ever seen this clip before. Put a one in the chat. Okay. You thought the same thing? Yeah. It's just weird, right? It just puts things into perspective of how all of this. The thing is that trafficking, you'd seen this clip before, James? You guys had seen it too if you haven't seen it before. Okay, some of you guys had seen it. I'd never seen it before. So a lot of these new clips are being unearthed. And you know what makes me so mad, guys? It's like all of this is being unearthed when a lot of this has been right in plain sight. One of my favorite movies, even though I'm not like no longer a fan of Kevin Spacey, right? But it was still one of my favorite movies was American Beauty. And let me tell you why. American Beauty always had this message of look closer because things aren't always what they seem. There was a lot of subliminal messaging. I used to be the kind of movie watcher that would look for subliminal messages in things, right? Look closer in plain sight and things that are disguised to look like they're like things are made to look beautiful. Sometimes are so manufactured. But if you look closer, things are right in plain sight. And that, my friends, is that it's like you start noticing attention to like details of like, why is this man walking out of a building, huge puffy coat, and little girl doesn't even have a sweater? That's a good example of noticing the things that maybe some folks will not see, right? Probably the one thing I ever liked about American Beauty was that message of look closer. And when you watch American Beauty and you start noticing the little subliminals of look, and there's words out there that say look closer, and all the fake BS that makes you distracted. And I thought if you look at that clip, you think about like, well, that's a nice door, very much Upper East, whatever side of whatever places might be, nice cars, definitely people with money are here, all of that, right? Like it just makes you look at things a little bit different. When you snapped out of that, you can't unsee it anymore. You know what I mean? You can't unsee it. And that's what I ask you guys. Sometimes you have to look at the most subliminal messaging parts of things. And it might take you a couple of times to get there. You can't unsee some of the stuff once you see it. Once you wake up, you can't unsee it. So that being said, though, that's an example of one. Hold up. Now I want to go because I did do a short on this, and people, you know, I kind of want to get into the comments of what the people had to say about this because hold up. Let me mute myself here. Hold up. Shorts. This is, and I want to read some of these comments because like I said, it's not even about whether you agree with me or not. You guys are entitled to your opinion, right? So this is what was trending yesterday. Okay. Some of you guys have probably already watched this. This was one of Epstein's depositions. I've clipped the clip so it fits the size of the shorts. Okay.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by a personal relationship? And then the person says, have you socialized with him? He says, yes. Okay.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though
And this is not even a question. Like, think about it, right? This is not a question to, I mean, it leads for people to think like, oh man, why would there be little girls around you, which we just saw him leave in another clip? There was a young girl, right? But they're specifically asking about Donald Trump. And with that, when I'm listening to this all over again, it really lends itself for us to believe that they were probably investigating Donald Trump on this for quite some time, a while ago. What came out of it? Clearly, nothing at this point. Can't say, I mean, other than what's civil, but criminally. What has come out? What do we know so far about this whole situation related to Epstein? He's not one of the people that got charged in the Epstein situation, right? Just Maxwell. But this was a question that they asked. And the setup, I was like, whoa, okay.
I'd like to answer that question, at least today. I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
The way Epstein. And he says, I'm going to have to insert this amendment right, and that amendment right, and that amendment right. Okay, because he couldn't just straight up answer it, right? You saw that this morning. It's something else. Plead the 5th guilty? Well, not always, right? Because sometimes you have to plead certain things to avoid self-incrimination back in 2019. But why? Ask yourselves, why were they asking that question specifically? Why was he asking about Donald Trump and the presence of young women, minors under the age of 18? It's sus. The investigators are going to ask you very pointed questions for very specific reasons, right? They're not just asking you, hey, like, just, you don't want to self-incriminate, so you definitely have to be careful, right? Like, the questioning is always important when it comes to these people. That's why you need a lawyer, if you know what I mean, right? The government has been protecting Trump and his billionaire friends for years, even before he was president. Well, this is what made me wonder. I said, why were they asked? I mean, they could have asked about, and maybe they did ask about other folks. They could have asked about other folks, whatever, but they asked specifically on Trump. Why did they ask about Trump? Why that specific? And what if, and I thought about this, what if Epstein would have answered yes? Yes, I did. Yes. Let's look at the comments, okay? Because I want to read some of these comments because the people did drag me here and there. Shout out to Voices said, I love going through Jeffrey recorded depositions. Pitufa said he had to plead 3 amendments. Disgusting. Evil Queen thought I'd like to answer that question at least today. Weird smirk, right? He did have a. Epstein said, I'd like to answer that question. Why? What do you mean? Unless you're having a play date. I mean, I don't think Epstein had his own children, which then also kind of made me wonder, did this guy ever father any kids? I'm going to tell, I wonder, like, if he's so connected. Let me see something real quick. I don't even know of anybody who had a child with this man. Right? He said because he's in the files. He always had a creepy face. Well, I mean, I've never even heard that he had a kid or anything like that. Did he have children? Was that even a thing? I don't think so. Or do we know of? He always had a creepy smirk. Okay, let's keep going. Define socialize. Best friend for 15 plus years. What does socialize mean? The 5th Amendment is not incriminate yourself. Not, okay, hey, look at this. The 5th Amendment is to not incriminate yourself, not to not incriminate Donald Trump. Why would, and this is a good point, the 5th Amendment is to not incriminate yourself, not to not incriminate Donald Trump. Why would he say the 5th Amendment when they're asking him about Trump? They're not asking him, they're asking him about another person. So why would he even have brought that up? You recently learned about the wife he had was a doctor. Wow. It's interesting how all of this works out. Abraham says, not Obama's fault. Plead the 5th and the 14th. Okay. Do you know what's even crazier? The people voted for him. I hope everyone gets the day they vote. Oh, Lord have mercy. Like I said, I'm not here to shame, but I'm just reading the comments that people are saying. Y'all are entitled to vote for whoever the hell you want to. Okay. But this is a comment that somebody wrote. Well, his reply says everything about Trump. Somebody said in the comments, a member said, toda la ropa sucia está saliendo a la luz. All the dirty clothes has come to light. Soul Power Truth said, if it was a no that he didn't socialize with Trump around under 18 years old, he would have said no and pled the 5th, which you plead not to self-incriminate or others. That speaks for itself. Yeah, you notice that? Thank you, Soul Power for Truth. I'm glad she said that because that is absolutely correct. Somebody said this was ending in jail, but how the other guy was ending to be president of the United States of America, I don't know. Somebody said in there, when was this interview questioning? I would love to see the whole thing. It was in 2019. No. It was before 20. I'm sorry. It was before 2019. It was one of the depositions. I forgot the year exactly. Somebody said exactly. You hear him answering the question, but without full story and the complete frame, you don't know what the question is and who he may be answering. Well, he's answering to investigators. That's what we do know. Those deposition videos they're on YouTube. Everybody can see them. And to answer that kind of specific question, you would know that it's a deposition, if that makes sense. You said his body language said no. Somebody said. His body language said no. That was his brain telling him not to answer the question. I interpret the head snake as him saying to himself, hell nah, I can't answer that. And then someone says LMFAO. Okay. Who was this that was questioning him? Must be a lawyer for whoever was suing him. It's a deposition. Okay, I'm trying to go to these comments. I'm going to say that this was AI. People are saying this is AI. This video is AI, y'all. Just like every other video that's coming out. So is that going to be the excuse for, like I said, a lot of this stuff has been sitting in plain sight. So if we don't believe the information, are we now going to use the AI excuse? And not to say that AI doesn't get used, because it does. It does get used. It's been a tool that people have been using to misinform the folks. Hell, somebody can do an AI video about me. Somebody can do a bunch of AI videos. And that's the part that is a little bit crazy, right? But to just believe that it's AI, okay, then believe it's AI. Someone said it was AI. Somebody said AI didn't exist in 2010, but okay, sure. And just because a timestamp doesn't mean it's accurate, okay? And beyond saving RIP. Whew. This gives you an idea of how people are interpreting some of this. Now, CoffeeZilla did a phenomenal video this morning, which I just couldn't agree more with what he had to say. Let's watch.
Far more implicated in the Epstein files than we previously thought. This is according to a Wall Street Journal article. The Justice Department told Trump in May that his name is among many in the Epstein files. A lot of people are going to tell you, oh, that's old news. We knew he was in the flight logs. We knew he was in these phone records, but that's not what we're talking about. Those were already public. Jeffrey's black book, that was already out there. This is a new review of documents that we're talking about. We're going to go through all of it. And we're going to start with Trump actually being asked directly if he was told by his attorney general whether he was mentioned in the Epstein files. And he says, no.
Did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No. She's given us just a very quick briefing.
So there we have Trump denying being told that his name was in the Epstein files. But a lot of people were wondering, well, then why are you acting so weird with these files?
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
It's pretty boring stuff that were made up by Obama.
Luckily, we unearthed an interview where Trump actually hints to the fact that he was in fact told that he was in the Epstein files and it was all fake stuff.
They've been running.
This interview we played on this channel. Some of you guys were saying, no, he's not referring to the Epstein files. No, he was. He was.
These files. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me.
Now that file.
And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. So there are files with your names on them. And because they found them, so much of what they found with my name are fake with me. Do y'all remember that clip? We played it a couple days ago here on this channel. And some folks were like, no, he's referring to the Russia things. No. I'm like, no, amigos. He said it's on the files. I played this. CoffeeZilla played it on his video too.
And so much of the things that we found were fake with me.
Were fake with me, which means that he knows he's in there. And again, a lot of people knew that he was in there. I mean, the man's name is on the flight logs. Like, come the hell on. We kind of knew this.
All fake stuff.
They've been running these files. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me.
Now, what files have we been running? If it wasn't for the fact that files were released, however many years ago, his names were there. So is he saying that his name being there is also fake? Like, I just don't. I'm not going to be gaslit. Okay? I don't think any of us should be gaslit. And I'm so glad that people are staying on his neck over this. Just not going to be gaslit. I don't think we deserve to be. I think we deserve better than this. We do. We all deserve better. We deserve to know the truth, whatever it may be, Okay, me again. Did you send it on my email? I'll try to check it out here, okay? You think he's running out of time? Woo-wee. It's not, he can't let this, it's not going to go away. Like, this is not going to go away. He may want it to go away. He may release other things, but it's just not going to go away. It's not.
Now, that file review is going to be separate from what we talked about with the flight logs, the black book, things like that.
Right. Okay.
According to the Wall Street Journal, when the Justice Department officials reviewed what Attorney General Pam Bondi called a truckload of documents related to Epstein earlier this year, they discovered that Donald Trump's name appeared multiple times, according to senior administration officials. So if you remember phase one, right? Phase one was a big scandal because Pam Bondi released these files, but it turned out that these files were an incomplete list of mostly already released stuff. So what did she actually release? Well, she released the flight log and she released the contact book. Then what happened? Well, Pam Bondi, super embarrassed, reached out to Kash Patel and said, hey, I need a bunch of new files. This is not enough. Give us more. She went on Fox News, started talking about, I've got this truckload of documents that is separate from the flight log, from the black book, that we're going to review and release to the American public.
She ran her mouth. Look at this. Like, this completely, it bit her in the ass. It really did.
Looking at these documents going, these aren't all the Epstein files. They were flight logs, they were names and victims' names. And we're going, where's the rest of the stuff? Yeah. So based on that, I gave them the deadline, Friday at 8, a truckload of evidence arrived.
Will everything else be made public?
It's always about protecting the victim. But you know what? We believe in transparency, and America has the right to know.
So there we clearly see there were two separate reviews that happened. First, there's the disclosure in phase one of kind of the stuff everyone knew. And then Pam Bondi goes, we got a truckload of new documents. We're going to review those and release those. And that's the review that flagged a bunch of times that Donald Trump's name appeared in here. And that's when they changed their story. Why is this a big deal? Previously, the appearance in the flight logs and the black book were the only appearances we really had of the president. There was really nothing else related to Trump there. It's also notable because Senator Dick Durbin said that the FBI was explicitly instructed to flag Trump's name if it came up in the files.
He said this, and we read that letter here too. They were on her desk. There was only 200 of them, Ricky, remember? They were on her desk. Where'd your comment go? Right here. They were on her desk the whole time. And then it turns out, well, not really. They were right next to the, maybe she like misunderstood. Maybe she had the MLK files right next to the other ones, as well as the JFK files. And they all just kind of got it all mixed up. I don't know. But this situation here, we read this letter and it's from the senator.
Attorney General's pressure on FBI to quickly review and produce more Epstein documents as promised. These officials were told to, quote, flag any records in which President Trump was mentioned.
Right. They had a new review where thousands of FBI agents combed through these things, flagging the president's name anywhere it appeared in this truckload of new documents. And that is what we're talking about here. These are new revelations, new pieces of evidence about our president's possible involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, of course.
Oh, yes. And of course, Obama, you can't forget, because those were there. So he's like, I got all these files of all these people. But we're still asking about Epstein. That's just not going to go away. You could say that you could reveal today. He could totally go live and do his congressional, hearings or whatever. Go at the White House and be like, guys, it turns out that aliens are real and we're about to release all the evidence. And people are still going to ask about the Epstein files. Bet. He could release footage of aliens walking around and that being, which I think it's been revisited a couple times, right? If y'all believe in aliens or whatever. It is what it is. But they could totally do that. And people are not going to let go of this, right? They're not going to let go of this. And I'm here for it. We shouldn't let go of this. Okay? Okay.
Of course, what are these files? That's what we all want to know, right? Unfortunately, it's being heavily covered up and heavily blocked. Obviously, one answer is the Wall Street Journal's prior reporting on this letter that Trump supposedly, allegedly wrote to Epstein, which talks about a secret that they both share. It's worth noting that the president said he was going to and then did sue the Wall Street Journal over this. He's seeking $10 billion about this. But the most interesting thing about this case is that the Wall Street Journal, its original claim was that this birthday book letter was all in the DOJ's possession earlier, meaning it would have been part of this truckload of new evidence unless it was destroyed. And so one of the best ways to disprove or prove the existence of this thing would just be opening up the Epstein files, which is part of the reason it's so sketchy that they're not doing it. If you're saying that this reporting is false, if you're saying that this birthday book did not exist, then why not just release the files where this birthday letter was supposedly contained? In fact, in this story, we actually have breaking news. Epstein's victim's lawyer now says that the estate of Epstein are actually in possession of this birthday book containing Trump's letter and would be willing to turn it over to authorities. So we'll have to see where that goes.
Possession of that birthday book.
The executors of this date are in possession of that book.
So already, if true, not only is that a kill shot to this lawsuit, it also proves that there's new mentions of our president in the Epstein files, which are now being covered up. Another big part of this cover-up story has been our government literally shutting down early to avoid a vote on the release of the Epstein files. This is because there were a bunch of representatives ready to vote actually in a bipartisan way on the release of the Epstein files. And a lot of Republicans had splintered off from the party line of not releasing it, backing the president. Speaker Mike Johnson, because he was fearing this, announced he was cutting short the week's legislative business and sending the House home early for the summer to avoid having to hold votes on releasing the files. I can't think of something more sick than stonewalling the release of files related to a trafficker to try to protect the people implicated in it. I can't think of something more disgusting, except for the hypocrisy that it also represents, because previously the same guy went on Benny Johnson's show, a conservative commentator, and said he was totally open to releasing the files and would vote on it.
Subpoenaing the Epstein documents from the DOJ, whether you would support either of those.
I'm for transparency. We're intellectually consistent in this. Look, Reagan used to tell us we should trust the American people. I believe in that principle. I know President Trump does as well. And we should put everything out there and let the people decide it.
Right. We should trust the American people until it's time to release it and actually vote on it. And then you shut everything down early to avoid it. Now, later, Mike Johnson came out and said he doesn't.
Yep, he sure did. He sure did. He sure did.
Doesn't want to be lectured on transparency by the Democrats who didn't release the files when they were in power. And you see a similar line coming from the White House about this.
Democrats have now seized on this as if they ever wanted transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, which is an suggestion for any Democrat to make.
Now, to this, I just have to say, yeah, they're scoring political points now, saying release the files, just like you guys scored political points when you were the party that wasn't in power.
We need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
But the people who actually care about this issue, we just want the files out. So you know an easy way you can prevent having the other side score political points by saying, hey, release the files. You can actually do it. Instead, we have a bunch of performative stuff like this from AG Pam Bondi and the president, where right after the reporting on the birthday letter about Trump and Epstein's supposed secret, all of a sudden, like a snap, Pam Bondi comes out and goes, oh, we gotta unseal the grand jury transcripts, despite knowing that there's almost zero chance of that happening. And of course, today we find out that it was denied.
So it was denied. This is where I was live yesterday and I had to kind of cut it short. And I do have those court docs and it's just very lengthy. So I don't know if we're going to review them today because I got to go deal with Baby Bunny in a little bit, but it was denied. This is not going to be as easy as everybody makes it seem like. And why the court transcripts? Why not just the files that they have in their own office? What's the deal?
Because they had literally no grounds to do it. It's like not something courts do for a public interest. In fact, the irony of that whole stunt to pretend to be transparent was that the Epstein survivors, which supposedly these people care about so much, were not told, they were not informed that this grand jury information was going to be unsealed. So ironically, despite saying that they want to protect the survivors of Epstein, what they really want to protect are the third parties implicated in all of this, which is why they won't release the Epstein files they could release right now, which is all in their possession, these thousands of documents that they have. In fact, the attempts to distract from the real issue of the Epstein files not being released, the cover-up that's clearly happening, it's actually been breathtaking. In fact, it compelled Trump to release 230,000 pages of documents.
This is what I was talking about. I'm like, this is 60 years ago. What are we supposed to do here?
Documents on MLK's assassination, which I guess is...
And literally, they're using this to distract. They're using this to distract people. I guess the crazy part.
Fine, but like, can you release the conspiracy now? Why are all the conspiracies revealed decades later when we can't hold anyone accountable? But at the time the conspiracies may be happening, all of a sudden it's, oh, well, no, we can't possibly do that. Now, there's another performative thing you should be aware of, and that's the meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell that's supposedly going to happen. The Department of Justice now says they're going to actually talk to Ghislaine directly. Quote, I have communicated with the counsel for Ms. Maxwell to determine whether she would be willing to speak with prosecutors from the department. This is confirmed by Maxwell's attorney, who says, I can confirm we are in discussions with the government and that Ghislaine will always testify truthfully. We are grateful to President Trump for his commitment to uncovering the truth in this case. Why is this deeply concerning? Because the idea had been floated that there would be a public testimony to Congress under oath by Maxwell. But this is not that. This is a private meeting with the same people who have been sweeping this issue under the rug the entire time. And what is Ghislaine really focusing on? What is she actually trying to get? She's trying to get immunity. We already know she's trying to get the president's attention and say, hey,
exactly,
you guys kind of screwed me. You wouldn't want to be seen as, not being a man of your word. We've seen those like vaguely threatening public statements by Maxwell. So what exactly are they going to get out of this? She's totally incentivized to clear everyone from this administration rather than get the truth out. Now,
this is not like, it's never going to be the truth. And just like it was said in my chat, I'm like, yeah, she's going to release information about somebody who's on the files. Okay.
I should say we actually have inside information on this because recently a bunch of world leaders have been meeting with not journalists, but get this, podcasters to talk about the world affairs of the day. Podcaster Tim Dillon talks about his dinner with what turns out to later be J.D. Vance and some other people where they discussed the affairs of Epstein and stuff like that. And he floats the idea of Maxwell testifying.
Ghislaine must speak. She should testify before Congress. A couple of the people at the dinner, again, it was a small dinner, 3 or 4 people. They said that is not on the table at the moment, but it's not impossible. Nobody's super jazzed about it.
So the administration appears to have told Tim Dillon in a private meeting that, yeah, we really don't love the idea of her testifying, but apparently they love the idea of meeting her privately to talk to her behind closed doors where we can't know what is said. Speaking to the only person who's ever been punished at all for Epstein's crimes and whose only incentive is to herself get immunity and get off the hook for all of this. So I obviously think this is a terrible idea. I think it's more of the same cover up. Until they release these files, they're finished. And interestingly, Tim Dillon, the guy at this dinner with the administration, actually said as much.
I think if they do not release everything they have, they are done. If they do not release, and I told them that, You need to release everything you have.
Yeah, of course. Doesn't take a political analyst to tell you you need to release the files. But of course, that seems to be the one thing they refuse to do. They'll do anything. They'll release MLK files. They'll probably tell you that aliens exist just to avoid releasing the Epstein files. And that is the actually most incriminating part of all of this. It has been the reaction, not the files themselves, that has made this look so bad. The unhinged response to just simple demands for following up on their words, saying they were going to release the Epstein files. Then it's, oh, we looked, we found the president's name a bunch, and now we're not going to show you what's in there. That makes us all assume the worst about what's actually in here. So ultimately, look, I just believe we should get transparency. Obviously, there's a lot we don't know.
It's never going to happen, though. Let's be real. It's never going to happen.
Here, but a lot that has also been coming out, and it all paints a much darker picture than we previously knew.
That's what it is. It's just, we're not going to get the information that we want. And I mean, we can keep talking about it, and we will continue to talk about it. This half-ass way of doing this, it's just not gonna happen. And they're gonna shut it down. That's what they're gonna do. I mean, we can protest, but this is what this is what we have. Okay. This is what we have. All right, guys, I do have to head out because I got baby bunny upset, so I got to go tend to her. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button, please, and thank you, so this doesn't get censored. I really do appreciate it. Shout out to everybody that supported the channel today. Thank you guys so much. I don't know if I'll be live later, but I will definitely try. Thank you again, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good, Thursday? Have a good Thursday, guys. Bye, guys. Bye.